What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great Tuesday. In this video, we're really going to break down what looks to be a nasty ice storm for portions of North Carolina, Virginia. We're going to really talk about this part of the storm because it really looks to be significant and potentially a dangerous and damaging ice storm for areas of the Triad of North Carolina, even the Triangle, maybe as far south as Charlotte, up into Virginia. It just looks to be just a major winter storm. It's already starting to crank up in Texas. It's going to go through the mid-Atlantic, the mid-South, the mid-Atlantic to the Northeast. So we're going to talk about it. We're really going to break down the ice storm component of this storm. Now, there is going to be an ice storm for areas of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, parts of Tennessee. But we're really going to talk about the Carolinas in this video and Virginia because this looks to be really significant. And so if you guys have not subscribed, it's much appreciated if y'all do. Like the video, if y'all do like it, share it, turn on the notifications. It's a great way to support me, and you know, I just appreciate talking weather with you guys, and having the audience to talk about what I love. So thank y'all for tuning in. Let's break it all down because this really looks to be something that looks to be like a bad situation. So all the models have really been trending colder today. Everything just is trending much uglier for an ice scenario. So this is the National Weather Service, 72-hour probability of freezing rain. We're at a tenth of an inch here, so it's almost a guarantee in this area, even down to Greensboro. I mean, you're at an 80-90% chance. A tenth of an inch of ice, yeah, it isn't a lot, but it definitely is something you're going to physically see in trees and things like that. We're looking at a quarter inch of ice. Guys, that's when you really start to look, you get issues. You start to get tree limbs breaking. You start to get it on the power lines. You start to see power outages. And check it out, Greensboro to Winston-Salem, you're in the 60 to 70% chance to see that. A quarter inch to a 30th of an inch is kind of what y'all saw in the Friday storm. But this is a nasty area of a quarter inch of ice. You go to a half an inch of ice, which is when you really start to get power outages. It starts to get on the roads, and that is a solid signal 48 hours out. Well, I wouldn't say 48. It's probably about 36 hours out of a half an inch of ice. And that's even a high probability into North Carolina. So, obviously, you go back to 10% chance. It goes all the way down to Charlotte into the upstate of North Carolina. Not a high percent chance. But this thing is going to continue to trend colder. I'm telling you guys, it really is. So, I want to show you this. This is Snowpack. This is an important piece to what's going on here and why, personally, I think models are trending colder. You have a refrigerated air mass over here. It is like you're basically a glacier. You're in the ice age in Texas and Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and obviously it's very cold in the upper Midwest. Well, you have a snowpack now. Obviously, you have snowpack in the Northeast. You have snow and sleet on the ground here in the Mid-South, and you're kind of just surrounded by it in North Carolina, South Carolina. This all kind of comes together to really amplify the cold air in a cold air damming event like we're going to have. So that's why even now, even though the models are trending colder, which I'm about to show you guys, this is going to trend even colder. I really think icing is going to get all the way down to Charlotte, maybe the extreme areas of upstate South Carolina. I don't think it's going to be issues necessarily down there, but I think it's an area we need to watch. So we're going to look at the NAM, the latest NAM, and here it comes. Here comes this storm. Here comes the freezing rain threat for places of Texas. The purplish shade is more sleet. The pink is freezing rain. And this is just a nasty, and the thing I want to watch here is it's going to be heavy precipitation. You're going to have a line of storms that really develops. It's going to put a slight risk. It's level 2 out of 5 for severe weather down in southern sections right here. In the panhandle of Florida, there's going to be a tornado threat down there and hot and strong winds, but really just talking about the winter aspect of this. Here it comes. The NAM wants to throw some heavy snow into Tennessee. But look here. You have a dome of cold air sitting here in North Carolina, and as we're getting into overnight tomorrow into Thursday, freezing rain and sleet starts to break out over North Carolina, Virginia, and this area right here is going to be just hit very hard. One thing I want to watch, though, is does this line of storms right here kind of take some of the energy and take some of the moisture from this up here? Is the moisture up here very heavy? Because let me tell you, this sounds weird, but when you have heavy freezing rain, sometimes it doesn't accumulate on things as good as when you have a light freezing rain. Obviously, you have more motion with the water. You have kind of you know, it just kind of adds more warm air, and there's a lot of motion going on. It's hard to freeze water when you have a lot of motion if you have marginal temps. So that's just something to think about. The GFS is the latest GFS. Here it goes. What I want you to show you here is, you see the pink right here? Look how cold it's trending. We're going to go about 2 days out. So 2 days out, watch each run as I'm getting closer, and look at it. This is crazy. So this is the latest run. You almost got freezing rain all the way down to Charlotte. I want to show you soundings, because a lot of people are saying, why aren't we getting sleet? Why aren't we getting snow in North Carolina and other areas of Virginia? Well, that's because you have something like a warm nose. And this is a stout warm nose. Basically, this is the warm nose. You see here to 0 degrees Celsius, that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's this line that goes up here into the upper atmosphere. At the surface, you're sitting at 32 degrees. So you're at or below freezing, right? So what happens here is, this is a shallow area of cold air, and this is what happens in basically CAD situations when you have the freezing rain part of the storm. But look how the temperatures go all the way up to almost 50-something degrees and just above the surface. So you have cold air up here. You got flakes, snow falling, sleet, and then any sleet or snow melts right here because it gets above 32 degrees on the upper atmosphere. But as it falls back down to the surface, it refreezes, because at the surface, which is right down here, it's 32 degrees or below. That's how you get freezing rain. Which is basically rain falling at 32 degrees or lower. So that's why we got here. These are definitely soundings of freezing rain. A better example, 30 degrees at the surface, but check out the temperatures. They, are scorching up in the upper layers of the atmosphere. So we look at the Euro real quick. We'll just kind of run through this, and you see here's the freezing rain here. But check out what the Euro does. The Euro just kind of keeps it lingering all the way into Friday morning. Makes it 24 hours of freezing rain in some areas. That's crazy. But here's what a lot of people want to see right here, is how much ice is really showing up here. And so this is the 18Z GFS. That's insane if you really get that much in Greensboro. A 67th of an inch of ice, almost an inch in Danville. That's, I wouldn't use the word catastrophic, but that has major, major damage. That is going to make it look like a hurricane went through in this area. And actually, I've heard a lot of areas here in Winston-Salem and Greensboro, it already looks like that. So this is definitely not a good look. You go to the 18Z NAM here, and same thing, just it's sneaking, getting closer to Charlotte, getting closer to Greensville. Got to watch out. 1/10 of an inch in Raleigh, but it can be much colder. The ice storm element is shifting more south. And I think maybe areas like near Roanoke and things like that, maybe even Danville, maybe you're getting more into the colder part of the storm aloft, to where you can get a little bit more sleet to save you from this crazy freezing rain. You look at the, basically this is the National Weather Service blend of all models. It's a great models stuff they show on Pivotal Weather. And it keeps it more realistic. But guys, that is still 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice right in here. That is well good enough for ice storm criteria. And what you have here is you're getting a glaze showing up in Charlotte now to Greensville, and sneaking into the upstate of South Carolina. But this is a big stripe of a major ice storm for sure. So I kind of want to show you this. Brad Panovich tweeted this earlier. This is the trend on that same model. I know this is a little bit smaller on your screen, but basically you see how it's inching more and more south on this? That's basically each trend. So how it starts is from yesterday around this time. It's shifting south. That's it, shifting south with each model run. So this is a dangerous situation. This is the snow event to this. The snowy side, obviously, you have, we're not really talking about this much, but obviously you're going to have a stripe of heavier snow and sleet that goes through Arkansas and Memphis. But, excuse me, guys. But now we're going to talk about what the National Weather Service is showing. Guys, I can't stress to you enough. If you live from Hickory to Greensboro to Winston-Salem, even north of Raleigh, up into lower areas of Virginia, this is a major and a significant ice storm about to move in Wednesday night into Thursday morning. This is a big deal. They actually have winter storm watches in Mecklenburg County and Charlotte, areas of South Carolina, mainly in just the mountainous areas. They're leaving the door open for this to trend colder, I think, is what this is pretty much saying. You look at the next graphic here. icing, not that big of a deal, but you get closer to Statesville, almost a quarter-inch of ice. It's not showing anything for Charlotte snow. This really isn't much of a snow event except for the mountains, but something we need to watch. National Weather Service in Raleigh doesn't really have any good graphics out right now, but they're under a winter storm watch, and they're basically saying, hey, well, north of town is like the Durham area, hey, 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch if possible, but this is going to trend colder. I think this is going to be more of a quarter-inch of ice kind of event. National Weather Service in Wakeville, Virginia. If you live in Richmond, points east, this is going to be a major ice storm. Look there in Farmville, Virginia. They're going to a quarter-inch to a 3/4 of an inch. And then you add 1 to 2 inches of snow with that. That is a huge deal, guys. A major, major deal. So all this is written up on their site. You go over to the Blacksburg. Man, they are giving exact totals. Basically a 1/2 inch of ice. This is a huge area, all the way into North Carolina. Big deal. So that's a little over almost a 1/2 inch of ice in Roanoke mixed with, let's see if we can flip to it, mixed with 2 to 3 inches of snow. That is, you'll get your snow on the front end, then it'll probably shift to sleet. And I know I haven't mentioned sleet much in the storm, but somewhere between the snow and the freezing rain, whoever sets up in that corridor is going to get a bunch of sleet. And really, this has a chance to be some heavy, heavy precipitation. Basically, this is the National Weather Service prediction on how much ice is going to occur. They're already showing significant totals for Greensboro, Winston-Salem, up to Danville, up to Richmond. Man, this is a big time ice event. So guys, y'all need to take this serious, because this is really trending into, I'm not saying historic ice storm, but this is going to be worse than Friday for areas, I think. And I really think this thing could trend much colder, or end up being much colder is what I'm saying, as the event's ongoing than maybe what models are still even thinking. But we'll see. I might be wrong with that. But also I want to mention that I'm going to likely be chasing the storm, and I'm going to be going live on YouTube for my first time on mobile. So if you're interested in following along with the storm, definitely let me know. And definitely follow along on the YouTube, because that'll be kind of a first time experience for me. So definitely follow along. But thank y'all for tuning in, and stay safe and get prepared up there in North Carolina, Virginia, because this is going to be a nasty storm.